Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chapter 3, Traditional Basis for Pay. So this chapter starts off by describing seniority and longevity pay practices, and then moves into merit or pay for performance methods. Let's talk a little bit about seniority and longevity pay. So seniority and longevity pay practices are very common in government institutions, whether it's city, county, state, or federal. Teachers working in the Wake County school system are a good example of this. So when you read about that in this chapter, I want you to think about how this can be discouraging for newer teachers who are working just as hard as their counterparts, but those counterparts can be earning twice as much as they are, depending on how long they've been employed. The reasoning behind this is that the more experience one has, the more they should earn. Now, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but just because a teacher has been in a position for 20 years doesn't make them a better teacher than someone who's been working, let's say, for 5 years. And so that's where merit pay and pay for performance comes in. Many companies choose to pay their employees for their performance and not necessarily the years of service. In fact, all of my past employers played this way. It wasn't until I worked at Wake Tech that I've experienced seniority pay. So when you read about these differences, I'd like for you to think about the pros and cons of seniority pay. And I'd also like for you to think about the cons of merit pay as well. I think it goes without saying there are a lot of different pros for merit pay, but are there any cons? And there are. I can think of just one. And the book talks about a whole bunch, but I think of just one when I think of the disadvantages of merit pay. And it has to come from a legal perspective. Just throwing my 2 cents out there. All right, let's go ahead and look at what you need to do this week. So read the chapter, complete the quiz, and then this week you have a mini project. This is a really good chapter too, by the way. For those of you who are looking at your compensation pay practices, I would really suggest you kind of take a look at this chapter and see how you can incorporate the things that you learned in this chapter to where you're working. Now, I don't have an assignment that does that because of the mini project. However, that doesn't mean that you can't learn a lot from this chapter and then apply this information to where you're working now. So the learning outcomes for this chapter, obviously you're going to be able to describe seniority and longevity pay. You're going to go ahead and be able to explain merit pay. You'll also explore the different variety of performance appraisal methods. You'll discuss how compensation professionals can strengthen their pay for performance link, and summarize the possible limitations of merit pay programs. Keep in mind, when you pay for performance, it can be more motivating than paying for seniority. Think about this. If you've been in a position for 20 years and you know as long as you don't do anything to get fired, you're still going to earn your annual raise, it kind of hinders motivation. And that's where that merit pay can come in. It can reward those who are working hard, regardless of how long they've been in that position. All right. You also have a couple of videos that I've incorporated as well. They're not required this week. However, I do feel as though they do a pretty good job explaining merit pay, longevity, and performance-based increases. There's also a video on teacher merit pay. I think it's so important for teachers to get paid for their performance. I see how hard they work. Obviously, I have a child in school, and I see how hard they work. And I obviously having a compensation background, I'm always thinking of ways that they can reward those teachers who are doing a fantastic job. All right, here's the quiz, and then here's the link to the mini project. So that is due this week, the mini project. I'm not going to cover the mini project in this video because I have another video that does that for you. So go ahead and find your way over that mini project. You can watch this video and it will discuss the requirements of that assignment. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.